When did you realize your parents shouldn't have had kids? I was 11 when I begged my parents for a dog. For months, I'd leave pictures of puppies on the fridge. Circle ads in the newspaper and promise I'd do everything myself. Finally, they cracked. Fine, my dad said. But you're doing all the work. We're not feeding it, walking it, or cleaning up after it. This is your responsibility. I agreed instantly. I would have agreed to scrub toilets for a year just to get a dog. We found Teddy at the animal shelter. He was this scruffy little terrier mixed with a white patch over his left eye. The moment he licked my hand through the cage, I knew he was mine, and I kept my promise. Every morning at 6:30, I dragged myself out of bed to feed him and take him for a walk around the block. After school, another walk. Before bed, one more trip outside. I taught him to sit, stay, and roll over using YouTube videos. I even made him a birthday card when we celebrated his first year with us. My parents acted like Teddy didn't exist. They'd step over him when he was sleeping, never pet him, never acknowledged him at all. But I didn't care. Teddy was mine. After about a year, things started changing. Dad complained about dog hair on his work clothes. Mom started forgetting to let Teddy inside when it rained if I wasn't home. They'd leave for grocery shopping and just leave him outside for hours. He's making too much mess, Dad would say, pointing at a single toy on the living room floor. I stayed on top of everything. I vacuumed daily, kept all his toys in one basket, made sure his water bowl was always full. I wasn't giving them any excuse. One Tuesday morning, I came downstairs for breakfast, and Teddy wasn't at his usual spot. By the kitchen door, his food bowl was gone. His leash wasn't hanging on the hook. "Where's Teddy?" I asked. Mom didn't even look up from her coffee. "He got sick yesterday while you were at school. We had to put him down. It was for the best." My stomach dropped. What? He was fine when I left. What was wrong with him? He was suffering, Dad said, not making eye contact. The vet said it was the humane thing to do. I ran upstairs and cried. For 3 hours straight, I couldn't eat dinner. I couldn't sleep. For the next week, I'd wake up expecting to hear his collar jingling downstairs, then remember he was gone. My parents acted like nothing happened. When I asked where we buried him, Mom said they had him cremated. When I asked for his collar, "Back," Dad said. The vet kept it. The following Saturday, I was at my cousin Emma's house using her laptop for a school project. I got bored and started scrolling through Facebook on her account. That's when I saw it, a post from Janet Carr, a woman my mom worked with at the bank. The photo showed a small terrier mix playing in a backyard I didn't recognize. Same scruffy brown fur, same white patch over the left eye, same red collar I'd picked out at PetSmart. The caption read, "Our new family member is settling in great. Thanks again, Claire." Claire, my mom's name. My hands started shaking. I screenshot the post and ran home. I found Mom folding laundry in the living room. I showed her the phone screen. "Is this Teddy?" She glanced at it for maybe 2 seconds. "I don't know what you're talking about, Mrs. Janet from your work. That's Teddy in her backyard. You gave him away." Mom set down the towel she was holding and sighed like I was being incredibly annoying. "You'll get over it," she said. "You're too young to take care of a dog anyway." But I did take care of him. I did everything. Dad heard the commotion and came downstairs. When I showed him the photo, his face went red. "You're being ungrateful," he shouted. "We didn't want that mutt in the first place. We did you a favor by finding him a better home. You lied to me. You said he was dead." "Oh, grow up," Mom snapped. "Stop being so dramatic." That's when it hit me. They didn't want a daughter. They wanted someone quiet, obedient, and easy to ignore. The moment I started asking questions or showing real feelings, They got rid of the only thing that made me happy. They took away my best friend and lied about it, then acted like I was the problem for caring. I went to my room and called Emma. Through tears, I told her everything. She was silent for a long time. "That's messed up," she finally said. Like, really messed up. 2 weeks later, Emma's mom offered to let me stay with them whenever I needed space. I started spending most weekends there. I was 11 when I first realized I might be the only one in my house who knew how to love something properly. It started with a dog Teddy. I'd begged for months. I'd printed out pictures of puppies and taped them to the fridge, circled ads in the Sunday paper, and made solemn promises. "I'll do all the work. I'll feed him, walk him, clean up after him. You won't even know he's here," I swore. Finally, they gave in. "Fine," my dad had grunted. "But he's your responsibility. We're not lifting a finger." I remember nodding so hard my neck hurt. I didn't care about conditions. I just wanted something who might love me back. We adopted Teddy from a shelter. He was a scruffy terrier mix with big, worried eyes and a white patch over his left one, like a pirate. He licked my hand through the bars, and I knew he was mine. I brought him home, wrapped him in my old baby blanket, and promised I'd never let him feel scared again, and I kept my promise. Every morning at 6:30, I walked him around the block in the cold. After school, another walk. Before bed, one more trip outside. I trained him using YouTube tutorials. I brushed him weekly, clipped his nails, even made him a little birthday hat out of construction paper when he turned 1. Teddy slept at the foot of my bed every night. My parents never said his name. They stepped over him like he was furniture, ignored him completely, except to complain. "Dog hair on the couch," Dad would mutter. Brushing at his pants, he barked once while I was on a call. Mom snapped one afternoon. "Control him." Never let him on the furniture, never pet him, never smiled when he wagged his tail. I thought maybe it would change, that they'd soften eventually. They didn't. Then one Tuesday, Teddy was just gone. I came downstairs for breakfast, rubbing sleep from my eyes, and the first thing I noticed was the silence. No jingle of his collar, no soft thump of his tail on the linoleum. His leash wasn't on the hook. His food bowl was missing. "Where's Teddy?" I asked. Mom didn't even look up from her mug. "He got sick yesterday. We had to put him down." The words didn't make sense. "He was fine the night before, sleeping curled up against my legs." "What happened?" I asked, my heart thudding. "He was suffering," Dad said sharply. "It was the humane thing to do." I stared at them. No warning. No chance to say goodbye. No explanation. I ran to my room and cried until my stomach hurt. I skipped dinner. For days, I woke up hoping I'd hear his paws against the floorboards, but there was only silence. I asked where they buried him. "Cremated," Mom said flatly. I asked for his collar. "The vet kept it." Dad said it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like he was gone because he was sick. Felt like he was stolen. Then the truth came out. I was at my cousin Emma's house the following weekend, using her laptop for a school project. I got bored and started scrolling Facebook. That's when I saw it. A photo, a dog in a backyard I didn't recognize, playing with a child. Same scruffy fur. Same white patch. Same red collar from PetSmart. The caption read, "Our new family member is settling in so well. Thank you, Claire." Claire, my mother's name. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. I took a screenshot, ran home, and found Mom folding laundry. I held out the phone. "Is this Teddy?" She didn't even flinch. "I don't know what you're talking about." "This is Janet from your work. That's her backyard. That's Teddy. You gave him away." She sighed like I'd spilled juice. "On the carpet. You'll get over it. You were too young to care for a dog anyway. I did care for him. I did everything. Dad came downstairs at the yelling. When I showed him the post, his face turned red. "You're being ungrateful," he snapped. "We didn't even want that mutt in the first place. We did you a favor. You lied. You said he was dead." "Oh, grow up," Mom said coldly. "Stop being so dramatic." Something cracked inside me. I realized then that they hadn't just lied. They'd planned it. Waited until I was out. Took the only thing in the world I loved, gave him away behind my back, and fed me a story to avoid guilt. They didn't see me as a person. Just someone small enough to lie to control. They didn't want a daughter. They wanted silence, obedience. Someone to sit quietly and say thank you when they stole things. Teddy was never the problem. I was. I cared too much. I felt too loud for them. So they erased the thing that made me happy and called it maturity. I locked myself in my room and called Emma. I told her everything through tears, my voice shaking. She was quiet a long time. "That's really messed up," she finally said. Like actually messed up. 2 weeks later, her mom pulled me aside during dinner and said, "You know you're always welcome here, right? If you ever need space." I started spending most weekends there. Her house was warm. Her mom asked how my day was. Emma and I walked her dog around the block, and sometimes I'd forget the ache in my chest. Just for a minute, at home, my parents never brought up Teddy again. But I never forgot, because that's when I knew. Some people shouldn't have children not because they're mean or cruel, but because they simply don't know how to love. Without control, they only give when it's easy. They only care when it benefits them, and when it doesn't, they'll take everything. Even the dog, even your heart. Story 2. They let me book everything. Flights, villas, restaurants. Then said, "Actually, you're not coming. It's just us now." "You're still coming, right?" My sister Lily asked me sweetly just 2 nights before the big family vacation. Her voice was soft saccharine, too soft, too sweet. She only sounded like that when she was hiding something. I was already suspicious. "Of course," I replied, flipping through the itinerary I had meticulously crafted. Flights leave Thursday morning. I booked them on my corporate MX, remember? Same for the villa and all the restaurant reservations, right? She said, then paused like she was about to say something else, but did and single quotes T. Instead, she changed the topic. "Make sure you pack that white linen shirt. You look good in it." It was fake, all of it. But I played along. You see, for the past 2 months, I had been the invisible travel agent and financier for a family bonding trip. That was, in hindsight, nothing but a long con. My parents, my sister Lily, her boyfriend Derek, all of them chipped in opinions, but when it came time to swipe a card, it was always mine. I didn't mind, not at first. I thought this might be the trip that healed some of our fractured dynamic, the one where for once I wasn't just the rich one or the useful one, but an actual part of the family. But Wednesday evening, the night before the trip, it all unraveled. I had just finished confirming the last reservation, a sunset dinner at a Michelin-starred seafood place that required a deposit. I forwarded the confirmation email to our group chat. Seconds later, I got a reply from Lily. "Actually, we've been talking, and we think it's better if this is just for us. Family only." I stared at my phone, rereading the message 3 times. Family only. Then another message from my mother. "Sweetheart, please understand. This trip is for reconnecting. We didn't want to say it, but your energy hasn't exactly been uplifting." And the final blow came from my father, who hadn't even called me in months. "Don't make this a thing. It's just easier without you." No calls, no apologies. Just like that, I was cut out. The trip I'd planned, the rooms I'd reserved, the deposits I'd paid, The card I'd used, all mine, and I was no longer invited. I didn't scream, I didn't argue, I said nothing. I just waited. Then, at 2:06 a.m., just hours before their flights, I opened my Amex app, canceled the card, disputed the charges, flagged every expense as unauthorized. I sent a short note to American Express fraud team. Simple, concise. I believe my corporate card was used without permission. Please cancel and initiate chargebacks for the attached transactions. Then I went back to sleep. By 8:12 a.m., my phone was lighting up, first from Lily. What the hell is going on? The villa won't let us check in. Then, did you cancel? Everything. I didn't respond. Then Mom wrote, you really went through with it. Why? After everything we've done for you, I did not reply to that either. Instead, I booked a first-class flight to Santorini solo. No group chat, no family drama, no Lily whispering poison into our parents' ears. Just me. My own plans and the satisfaction of finally correcting a mistake. They had excluded me from family, so I excluded them from my generosity. They didn't even hide it. Well, that was the part that hurt the most. The casual, unbothered way they decided I wasn't worth inviting on a vacation I planned and paid for it had started innocently enough. A text from Mom back in May. Maybe we should all go somewhere together this summer. One of those big family villas by the beach. I thought she meant it. I really did. I was foolish enough to think we'd turned a corner after years of thinly veiled distance. I said, sure, I'll look into it. And I meant it. And so, I spent the next 2 weeks finding the perfect place. A 6-bedroom villa on a private stretch of coastline in Majorca, infinity pool, daily housekeeping, chef on-call options, a short drive from the port where the fancy restaurants were. It was dreamy. It was expensive. I didn't mind when I brought it up during our weekly video call. Lily was the first to react. Ugh, that sounds amazing, but the deposit's probably insane, right? I laughed. Yeah, but it's fine. I can float it until everyone pays me back. Just Venmo me later. There was silence. Just a long, loaded pause that told me exactly what I needed to know. They weren't going to pay me back. They never had. But the fool I was, I brushed it off. Told myself it was worth it for family. I booked the villa on my corporate card. Then came the flights. Derek, Lily's boyfriend, wanted to fly business class. My back can't take long hauls in economy. He said he's 32 and in perfect health. But again, I didn't argue. I upgraded everyone. They didn't say thank you. They didn't even acknowledge it. The group chat turned into a command center. Everyone wanted to have a say in the details. Not sushi. On night 1, too heavy. Can you check if they offer almond milk at the villa? Let's avoid tourist traps. Every demand came through me. I wasn't invited to contribute. I was expected to provide. My father had the audacity to send me screenshots of restaurants with price ranges well above average. This one looks good, he texted. Make a reservation for 6. 6. There were supposed to be 7 of us. I asked why 6. He replied, just a mistake. Meant 7. I let it go, but that number kept showing up. Every time I confirmed a booking, it was mysteriously set for 6. I corrected it again and again. They gave vague excuses. All right, forgot to include you. Our bad. I knew what was happening, but I didn't want to believe it. You have to understand, I was used to being sidelined. My whole life, I was the extra, not the golden child. That was always Lily. She was charming, loud, magnetic. She knew how to play our parents like a violin. I was useful. When I got promoted to finance director at 31, no one congratulated me. When I helped Dad out of tax trouble 2 years ago, he didn't say thank you. He just said, Good thing someone in the family understands numbers. I tried to chalk it up to generational awkwardness that maybe they just didn't know how to express. Appreciation, but it wasn't that. They just didn't care. Lily had been laying the groundwork for months. Subtle jabs, passive-aggressive digs. I remember one afternoon we were all on Zoom, and she said, "You know, you get this controlling look. When you talk about plans, it's exhausting." Our mother laughed. Later she told me, "Don't mind Lily, she's just teasing." Except it wasn't teasing. It was strategy. See, Lily thrives when she's the center of attention. She can't share the spotlight, especially not with someone who's footing the bill. She knew the only way to stay queen was to cut the competition, and that competition was me. So she painted me as difficult, controlling, negative energy. She said it enough times that our parents started repeating it. She means well, but you. Do you get a little intense? Don't ruin the mood. Maybe you should sit this one out. Recharge. Recharge. I was the one paying, and yet I played along. I kept smiling, kept coordinating, kept sending links and reservations and updates like some travel agent. They were quietly planning to ghost. I started to get nervous a week before the trip. I noticed I was being left off group chats. I only found out about their matching outfits because Lily accidentally posted a screenshot on Instagram stories. Villa Squad Palm Tree, Black Heart, 6 days to go. 6 people, 6 suitcases, 1 me. That's when I started preparing, just in case. I opened a backup card under my name only. I moved all final charges off the corporate account. I saved every email. Confirmation, every receipt. And when Lily texted the night before departure, "Hey, so small change of plans. We think it's best if you don't come." Nothing personal. I wasn't shocked. Not really. Just cold. I stared at my phone and remembered. All the late nights working to cover my family's bills over the years. I thought about how I bought Lily her first car. How I lent my parents money during CO. How I paid for Derek's dental implant last fall because his job was being weird about benefits. Nothing personal. I laughed at 2:06 a.m. I retracted all. My payments on the card. Flights, villa, dinners, excursions, everything was rolled back. I canceled the virtual card and set up fraud alerts. Then I went to sleep. At 8:12 a.m., the screaming began. My phone started buzzing around 8 a.m. I was already awake. Sipping coffee on my balcony, watching the morning unfold like it had nothing to do with me. The first call came from Derek. I let it ring. Then Lily ignored. Then Mom declined. By 8:27 a.m., I had 12 missed calls, 3 voicemails, and the group chat, which had been dead silent for the last 48 hours, lit up like a Christmas tree. "Lily, what did you do?" "Mom, they canceled everything. The villa said the reservation doesn't exist anymore. Dad, you need to fix this right now." Then Derek chimed in, breaking his usual monosyllabic streak. "This is insane. What the hell is wrong with you?" I said nothing. I just kept sipping my coffee, scrolling through the travel app. On my tablet, Santorini looked beautiful this time of year. Warm, isolated, peaceful, exactly what I needed. By 9:03 a.m., the texts got more aggressive. They had reached the airport only to be told their flights were canceled due to non-payment. The airline wouldn't rebook them without a valid card. They said the payment didn't go through. Something about a dispute, Lily messaged. "You seriously reported this as unauthorized." That's when I decided to finally reply. I opened the group chat, let the typing dots blink for a few seconds, and wrote, "I didn't report you for fraud. I just corrected an error. Unauthorized use. I wasn't coming. Remember?" Silence. Then a single message from my mother. "You really went through with it after everything we've done for you." I stared at those words for a long time. After everything we've done for you? Like what? Raising me with constant comparison. Using me like a bank account. Cutting me out of my own trip without the decency of a conversation. I didn't answer. At 9:17 a.m., Lily called again. This time, I answered, just to hear it. "Have you lost your mind?" she shouted the moment I picked up. "Do you know what you've done? You've embarrassed us. We're stranded at the airport with no hotel, no flight, no nothing." "Sounds like a you problem," I said calmly, "not a me problem. You're unbelievable. You sabotaged your own family." "No," I replied, "my family sabotaged me. You just didn't expect consequences. We included you out of pity," she spat. "You made it miserable. Your energy is toxic. You always make everything about you. You booked everything. I cut in, paid for everything, covered your boyfriend's premium seat, Dad's airport lounge access, Mom's second check bag, and the villa with the heated pool." She was quiet. "Don't twist this," she snapped finally, voice cracking. "You just love control. That's all this is. You're punishing us." "No," I said again, slower. "I'm done letting you punish me for having boundaries. You decided I wasn't invited, so I removed myself and my card. We're done," she said. "Don't ever contact me again." "Great," I replied. "I'll finally have some peace." Click, call ended. At 10:42 a.m., Mom sent a string of voice messages. I didn't listen, but the first few seconds auto-played. Her voice was tearful, accusatory, weaponized disappointment. By noon, Derek tried calling again, this time from a different number. I blocked it. Then I sent a message to the group chat. Just to be clear, I disputed the charges because I didn't authorize the trip anymore. I was removed. So was my card. What you do from here on out is your business. Dad replied minutes later. "So you're abandoning us now?" I stared at that message and felt a calm wash over me. The kind of calm that comes when you know you're done explaining yourself to people who never really listened. I typed my final reply. "I'm not abandoning you. I'm opting out of being used. Enjoy your summer." And I left the group chat. That evening, I received one more message. This time, a voice memo from Lily. I hesitated, played it. Her voice was lower, less furious, but colder. "You think this makes you a hero? Do you think people are going to side with you? You'll regret this. Don't. Come crying back when you realize you've burned every bridge. This family is blood, and you just spat in it." She paused, then added, "And I hope that fancy little solo vacation of yours is worth it because it's the last one you'll ever get with. U.S." I saved the message, not for revenge, not for proof, but because one day I'll want to remember the exact moment I stopped giving a damn. I booked my own flight that night, first class. Window seat, spa hotel. No compromises, just me, my silence. And finally, some peace. My plane touched down in Santorini just after noon. The Mediterranean sun poured through the airplane windows like honey. Soft and golden. And for the first time in years, I exhaled without tension. No group chat buzzing in my pocket. No frantic voice messages. No itinerary to fix for people who would later pretend I was never part of it. Just silence and peace. I checked into a cliffside hotel I'd only ever bookmarked for someday. The kind of place that handed you cold towels at check-in, knew your name without asking, and brought cocktails. To your balcony without a request, my suite had an infinity plunge pool overlooking the caldera. I stood out there for a long time, hands on the railing, letting the silence press against my eardrums until it became the loudest, most comforting sound I knew. The phone calls had stopped. The day after the disaster at the airport, I muted everyone They screamed, begged, insulted, threatened, and then went quiet. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. They had made their choice when they decided I was the inconvenience in their fantasy. When they told me explicitly that I wasn't coming, when they had the nerve to act shocked that I took their word seriously and took my money with me. By the second day, Lily's Instagram was locked. Her earlier countdown to my Yorker Reels had vanished. My guess, they couldn't rebook the villa in time, or worse, they had to downgrade. I didn't care. Instead, I was sipping espresso and reading by the pool solo. I hadn't known how exhausted I was until that first night when I fell asleep without headphones, without background noise, and didn't wake up once, not even to check my phone. Not even to wonder what they were saying, because none of it mattered anymore. Let them stew. Let them sit in the ruins of their entitlement and wonder why the scaffolding collapsed the moment the one person who held it up walked away. Let them explain to their friends why the trip was delayed or didn't work out, or plans changed. Let them feel for the first time what it's like when the person who always says yes finally says nothing. And here's the twist. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't bitterness. It was relief. It was the quiet of knowing I didn't owe them explanations. It was the freedom of making a choice for myself without guilt. It was ordering a bottle of wine at dinner without someone at the table rolling their eyes and saying, "Oh, so now you're fancy." It was the realization that I was finally living for myself. On the third day, I got an email from American Express confirming that all the charges had been reversed. The flights, the villa, the restaurants, everything. They'd been flagged as unauthorized, which technically was true. I hadn't authorized any of it once I was cut out. Apparently, Lily had tried to contest the reversal. Apparently, it didn't work. I smiled at the message, not because it was petty, because it was final. Then, as if scripted by fate, my phone buzzed. A new message. It wasn't Lily or Derek or even Mom. It was from someone I didn't expect. My cousin Nora. "Hey, I know things are crazy with your family right now. Just wanted to say you're not crazy. And you're not wrong. I saw what they did. I'm sorry." I sat with that message for a while. Then another came, this time from someone I hadn't spoken to in months. My aunt, who had long kept her distance from the drama. "I've watched them lean on you for years. I always thought it was unfair. I'm proud of you for finally walking away." More followed. Quiet supporters. People who had seen the slow erosion of boundaries. People who had witnessed the subtle abuse, the manipulation, the way my sister commanded the spotlight while I carried the weight. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't cruel. I was just done. By the 5th day of my trip, I had deleted the group chat thread from my phone entirely. I removed their birthdays from my calendar. I archived the years of text that only started with pay, quick question, and ended with me paying for something no one remembered the next month. On the final night, as I sat on the rooftop terrace, watching the last sliver of sun disappear behind the sea, I felt something unexpected. Forgiveness? Not for them, for me. For the years I spent letting them convince me that love was something earned through sacrifice, that I had to pay my way into being included. That worth was transactional and conditional, and always slightly out of reach. I forgave myself for not seeing it sooner, and I promised myself never again. When I flew home, no one greeted me. No one asked how the trip was. No one welcomed me back. And that too was freedom. It's been 6 weeks since I returned. I haven't spoken to my family. Not once. At first, the silence felt unnatural, like there was a phantom phone buzzing in my pocket every evening, waiting for a text that wouldn't come, but slowly. The absence became peace, like a wound that had finally been cleaned out. Quiet, painful. But healing. They stopped trying after the first week. Lily's last message was a single word. Wow. It came after she realized I'd blocked her number. Derek never tried. Of course, he didn't. My parents sent one letter handwritten, said they were disappointed in my behavior and concerned about my mental health. That was their way of avoiding accountability by making my boundaries look like a breakdown. I didn't reply. I kept the letter. Though not out of sentiment, but because I like reminders, evidence. I look at it sometimes when I start doubting myself. When I feel the old guilt, try to sneak back in. It reminds me what manipulation sounds like when it's dressed in concern. My therapist, yes, I started therapy again, said something in our second session that stopped me cold. You've been trying to earn love from people who only gave it in exchange for utility. That's not love, that's labor. I wrote it down, taped it to my fridge. It's the first thing I see every morning, and every morning it feels more and more true. Since then, things have changed in ways I didn't expect. My apartment feels warmer. Not because anything's different. Same couch, same dishes, but because it's mine. No one's crashing on it. No one's asking for a small loan. No one's treating me like the family treasurer. I wake up earlier, I cook more, I read without guilt. Last week, I booked another solo trip. To Kyoto. This time, cherry blossom season. No group chat, no forwarded links. Just me. I even posted a photo from my last trip. Not to show off, just to mark the moment. A glass of wine, my feet by the edge of the pool, captioned simply, turns. Out solo doesn't mean lonely. A surprising number of people messaged me. Some I hadn't heard from in years. One, surprisingly, was my cousin Natalie, a quiet girl from Dad's side of the family who I barely remembered speaking to growing up. She wrote, "Saw your post. Just wanted to say I cut off my mother last year. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and the best. You're not alone." I hadn't realized how many of us there were. The quiet ones, the givers, the reliable children, the mature siblings. The invisible providers holding it all together for people who never once stopped to ask how much it cost us emotionally. Financially, spiritually, we were all raised to believe that family was forever. What they didn't say was only if it's mutual. I don't feel bitter anymore. I don't feel angry. I feel free. I don't hate them. I simply don't owe them anything anymore. Not my time, not my explanations, and definitely not my money. Maybe one day they'll understand, or maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. I've built a life where I don't need their approval, where I don't twist myself into someone else's wallet, just to be tolerated, where I am enough, even in silence, where I book trips for myself and I go alone, and I love it. Because in the end, it wasn't about the money, it was about the message. I'm done financing disrespect, and I'm never going back.